Morning, folks. My name is Jim Aspel. I'm a board-certified workers' compensation attorney in Farmington, Connecticut. And I wanted to take a minute this morning to go over how you properly fill out a Form 30C Notice of Claim for Compensation. In these videos, we talk about the 30C from time to time. And the Form 30C is a state of Connecticut form that we or any injured worker is going to use to institute their workers' compensation case. It's the form you fill out that says you're making a claim for benefits under the Connecticut Workers' Compensation Act. The form can be found in any of the workers' compensation offices. They'll give you one. Probably the most easiest way to get one is online on the Connecticut Workers' Compensation website. I believe they have a fillable PDF form there. The form is also in the workers' compensation guidebook that the state puts out every couple of years. And basically, it's your typical state of Connecticut form, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It's got the number 30C up on the top. And it says State of Connecticut Workers' Compensation Commission, Notice of Claim for Compensation, Employee to Commissioner and to Employee. So if you get hurt on the job or you're claiming workers' compensation benefits, this is the form that you're going to want to fill out to get your claim started. Now, the first thing you need to know is that filing this claim in the Workers' Compensation Commission, so filing your claim, costs absolutely nothing. It's absolutely free to file a workers' compensation claim in the state of Connecticut. So unlike a personal injury case, for example, it's not like you're suing your employer. You don't have to pay an entry fee. The form doesn't have to be served by a state marshal or anything like that. So totally free. So that's the first good thing. There's a couple of pitfalls on the form, though, that you want to be careful to avoid. So when you're filling them out, most of it's fairly straightforward. On the middle third left side of the form, it says injured worker. Basically, you put in your name, your birthday, your address, your phone number, things like that. Immediately to the right of that, and there's a couple little tricks here, there's a box labeled injury. And so in that section, what you do is you put in the date of injury, which typically if you have a specific injury, so if you break your arm or you're lifting something and your back goes out or you fall down or you're in a car accident or something like that, we all know what the date of injury is, and that's what you're going to put in that particular spot. It becomes a little bit more tricky if you have a repetitive trauma claim. Typically, my advice on that is if you're claiming repetitive trauma, in other words, you're doing the same activity over and over again in your work environment is what's led to your injury, then you're going to want to put in the last date that you did that particular activity. So even if you're still employed and you're still doing it, say for example you're a cashier and you're ringing in and day out 8 hours a day, you're going to put in the most recent date that you did your activity, and that's going to be your date of injury. Town of injury, pretty self-explanatory, although something to keep in mind, a lot of times we have Amazon drivers or things like that where their base may be in Windsor or at the airport or something like that, but they're out on the road and they get hurt delivering a package at a house in Rocky Hill or wherever it happens to be. So correctly, if you're going to do the form correctly, the town where the injury occurred is what you're going to put on that particular line. So again, if it's you have a fixed base job, it's self-explanatory. If you have a delivery job or you're working for a construction company where you're out on different sites during the day, pick the town where the actual injury occurred. Okay. Body part, I belabor this point over and over again in these videos, but list every possible body part that you think you're hurt in the injury. So, your left shoulder, your right shoulder, both shoulders, if it's your knee, if it's your entire left side, you can put down left side. I've seen that work. So just more is better, I would say, in that regard. And then it says, describe injury and how it happened. Pretty self-explanatory. I was lifting a box and felt my back pop. I was in a car accident, sustained injuries. I fell down the stairs, whatever it happens to be. If it's a repetitive trauma type thing, what I would suggest is you put in years of keyboarding have led to hand pain or something of that nature, just to kind of give the commissioner or the administrative law judge a heads up as to what it is that you're claiming. There's a couple of boxes in that section The first one says check if an occupational disease or repetitive trauma. And again, if you're claiming a repetitive trauma, make sure that you check off that box, because the Workers' Compensation Commission, they do pay attention to that. So that's important. And then it also says check if you have more than one employer. Concurrent employment, so in other words, if you have more than one employer at the time you got hurt, is an issue that we see employees miss fairly often. If you have two jobs the week you got hurt, generally if you're losing time from work, you're entitled to be compensated using the wages from both of those jobs. The wages from the second job are typically paid by the state of Connecticut Second Injury Fund. And so they have to be put on notice that they may have some responsibility for the claim. So if that's the case, check off the box if you have more than one employer. And again, generally how the case law has come down now at this point, and the position that the Second Injury Fund is taking is they're looking at the actual week that you got hurt. So if you had two jobs, you got hurt while working as a CNA in a particular week, but you also had a job working at a convenience store as a cashier on the night shift, you're losing time from both of those jobs. Check off that box, okay? The employer, pretty straightforward. If you don't know, you can generally get that information off your pay stub. It'll have the legal name of your employer, their address, and all that good stuff. The only tricky part in that particular box was injury on the premises of the employer. And again, that goes back to similarly to the injury box. If you're working for Amazon or something like that, if you were delivering a package and the accident wasn't on the employer's premises, then you're going to X off that box. Likewise, if you're out on a construction site, your construction yard might be in Bloomfield or something like that, but you're doing a job in West Hartford, X off the box. Then finally, you're to the right of that, signature of injured worker or representative. This is where you put in your information, and this way the Workers' Compensation Commission knows how to get a hold of you and to send you notices so that you can participate in the hearings. If you have an attorney, they're going to fill in their information in that box. So that's basically how you fill out this form. It's by and large pretty straightforward. The other important thing to know about this is what do you do after you fill it out? So you have to send the form two places. Number one, you have to send it to the Workers' Compensation Office that has jurisdiction over the town where you had your injury. Actually, you have to send it to any Workers' Compensation Commission. In the Workers' Compensation Guidebook or on the Workers' Comp website, they'll tell you the location and the address of those various offices and which towns fall into their jurisdiction. You're going to want to send it there by certified return receipt mail. Keep the green card, keep the receipt, keep all the documentation because it's going to come in handy down the road. Don't throw those out under any circumstance. To send that out, it's going to run you, with today's postage, it's going to be about $8. Likewise, you're going to want to send it certified return receipt requested to your employer. Use the address on your pay stub. That's probably the best practice. Same thing, keep the green card, keep the receipt. Okay? So long as you do those things, you fill out the form the way I've explained it to you, you keep the green card and you send them to certified mail, you've taken the steps to appropriately get your workers' compensation claim started, and you should be in good shape moving forward. If you have any questions about that, feel free to give me a call, 860-523-8783. You can visit our website. There's a lot of information there. It's www.aspbellaw.com. We do have a Facebook group, Ask a Connecticut Workers' Compensation Attorney. You're welcome to join that at any time. If you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up, and I'd invite you to subscribe to the channel. We do drop videos explaining various workers' compensation topics fairly regularly, and I'd love to have you in the family. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, give us a call. My name is Jim Aspell, Board Certified Workers' Compensation Attorney in Farmington, Connecticut. Hope you have a good day and stay safe. Thanks.